Alright, is everyone ready for class to begin? Has everyone finished their homework? Is there anything that they would like to share from yesterday? Alright, so let's move on to today's lesson where we're going to be talking about three different things. We're going to be talking about formulas of geometry. And there are three formulas. The first one is parameter, the second is area, and the third is volume. So the first one we're going to talk about is parameter. What is parameter and what do we use this for? Anyone? Yes. Student is answering the question and teacher is listening to student's answer. Good, very good. Anything anybody would like to add? So yes, that is parameter, when it's the same. Imagine that you have a big square, and suppose one side is 5 feet, the other side is 10 feet, another side is 5 feet, and the last side is 10 feet. Added all together, that is the parameter. Wow, so what would we actually use this for in life? Okay, well maybe for farming you would use that. You would use a parameter for farming, but what kinds of things in farming would you use it for? Student answered, yes, for a fence. The farmer needed to measure how much fence they needed for the land. Say they needed 1,000 feet, they would go to the store and buy a fence and bring it back to set it up. Would you use the area for this? No, right. You use the parameter to find out how much fence you would need altogether. Alright, now, so let's go on and talk about area. So what are we going to use area for? Student is answering question, teacher's listening. Right. So the area is basically the whole entire space. Everything together in that big area. Is there anything else? Perfect, yes. You need to find the area of how many seeds you need for plants. Anything else? Right, just like on a floor, you would need to know the area of how many square footage you would need to cover an area of the floor. That is the area. Very good. You guys are very knowledgeable students. Is there anything else? Another student is answering question. Yes, that is correct. An area of a house. And you definitely use times to find the area. For the third one, volume, what are we going to use volume for? Right. It's when you have a box, it is the length, width, and height is the volume. You know how much milk there is in a carton or how full the box is. Okay. So parameters, basically two things that you do to find a parameter. It's the length and the width. Okay? So basically looking at two things of a square, for example, that are the same. The width is the same and the length is the same on each sides. And then the corners are what is added all together. So there's a different way of figuring out the parameter. In the middle of this example is one way to figure out the parameter. And this is 2 length plus 2 wide. Does anybody recognize this formula? Are you able to do that? Well, there are other ways. The second way is the length plus width plus width. Both these find the perimeter the exact same way. Is there another one? Student is answering the question. Yes. So this is 2 times length times width. So good, all three of those. Anything else? Okay, so again, the parameter is everything added together. Okay, area. So how do you figure out how to find the area? This is multiplication. It is length times the width. Is there any other way? Just the one? Not particularly. So this is usually just multiplication, that's it. So suppose here, for the example, we have the length is 5 feet and the width, and then the width is 3 feet. What is 3 times 5. What do we get? 15 feet total. Is that it? Is that all we have to do? But we're forgetting one thing, right? We have to make this squared. So this is 15 feet squared. Do we know why? Because there are 2 sides of the length and 2 sides of the width, and they need to be equal on each side. Okay, next for volume, we have length times the width times the height. Again, all multiplication. Is there any other way to basically find the volume? No, it's multiplication. So parameter is adding, area is multiplication, and formula is multiplication. Anybody have anything that they prefer to usually use? Just depending on kind of what you feel comfortable with and prefer.